If you're a Christian woman who's pretty sure that you want to start the next diet because you just find yourself a little preoccupied with losing weight, maybe with getting thinner, you kind of hate the way you look and it's really bothering you, then this is made custom for you. Consider the points I'm going to make in this video before you start the next diet plan, okay? I know that dieting, it's really the one tool we've all been given to achieve this thing that we're all supposed to achieve, which is ultimate thinness or even just getting thinner, right? So we use dieting. It's really all we know of. And here I am saying, well, wait, hold up, let's talk. So I don't want you to fear. I just want you to consider some of these things that I'm going to bring forth today, okay? Now, I know in my own history that I would usually turn to and depend on the next crash diet, the next diet plan, the next fad diet, the next elimination of this product or that food or this ingredient or that. And my body was supposed to achieve this image, in my mind anyway, and I was supposed to be on some sort of diet. It's just how you live, right? That's just the price of being a woman. I was supposed to restrict certain foods that I liked. I was just supposed to live this way because it's really all that I knew, and I just made a lot of assumptions. But I found that as I dieted, I also started growing a bigger and bigger preoccupation with achieving that ideal, or even any amount of weight loss, really, or thinness. And also a growing hatred of the way my body was shaped, the way I looked, my appearance. It really was debilitating in a lot of ways, and it became more and more so as the years went on. So, if you're a Christian woman dealing with these things like I have, you are truly not alone. I work with women just like you all the time. You're not alone. And if you, like me, have been depending on diets to achieve that weight or that body shape that you're kind of preoccupied with, you know what I'm saying, then I would ask you just to consider these things before going on the next crash diet, okay? All right, so before trying that next new diet that you just found online that everyone's raving about, that's getting all the accolades and everyone's swearing by it, I would love for you to just stop for a minute. Just stop for a minute and think about what you actually can and cannot live with for any period of time, okay? Now, of course, this means you need to really be honest with yourself. It's not as easy as it sounds. It's not so easy to look at a new diet plan and think that you can't maintain it. We all start them because we think, oh, that's the one I can live with. I remember things like when Atkins came out. So I was like, oh, fine, I'll give up the breads and the carbs if I can have fat and cheese and all of that stuff. What happened is when that was all I was eating, and this is very similar to like what people think the ketogenic diet is now, even though it's a bit misunderstood. What I found was that even though I could put whole cream in my coffee and I could eat the meats and the fats, after a while, I just wanted me some bread. I wanted something crispy, something I could crunch on, something that had wheat in it or rice or any kind of grain. And those things that I could have, all the cheeses and the creams and whatnot, they just were not satisfying me. I really just wanted something normal again, something back from my normal life. So I encourage you to think honestly and seriously about what you're going to actually be able to live with for the long term. What can you actually give up and not turn back and seek for again? And what can you not give up long term? And it's okay. Whatever your answer is, that's fine. Just have that understanding in your mind. Number 2, this also is going to require some honest self-reflection. Nobody else is listening. It's just you and me. Really, it's just you. You're just answering yourself. So you can be as honest as possible here. I want you to play the movie out. And what I mean by that, I want you to play out the movie in your mind of you living on this diet that you're about to do. What's it like 2 weeks from now? What's it like in a month, in 3 months, in 6 months, in a year, 2 years, 5 years, a decade from now? Is that something you're going to be able to maintain for the long haul? And the reason I'm saying that is because if you have any kind of dieting history, you kind of already know it's pretty hard to stay on these restrictive diet plans. And on top of that, there's a backlash, isn't there? When you stop the diet, there's a backlash. Usually you're over-consuming or overeating all those foods that you couldn't have all of that time. So why I want you to play this movie out, why I want you to consider what you can and cannot give up, it's because if you start any kind of eating plan, any type of weight loss endeavor, and it's not sustainable, it's not a sustainable way of eating for you, if you cannot live with this, if you cannot enjoy it enough to stick with it, then what's gonna happen is that the weight will come back, and very often you end up with even more weight than you started with. Then you're left feeling completely defeated, more hopeless, more despairing, and now you really don't know what to do next. Then we have this sort of amnesia phase, and then we start the next diet plan anyway, right? Again, it's because it's the only tool that we've been given. It's all that we know. So it's really important for you to ask yourself these questions. Is this going to be realistic for you in the long term? Now, if the answer's no, then you really could be setting yourself up for quite a backlash once you start it. This is how people enter that disordered eating diet cycle, that roller coaster of weight, the preoccupation in their mind that can consume them over time. All right, so those are the first two things I want you to think about. If you've been very honest with yourself in the first two questions, well, first, great job. That is not easy. And even if you've attempted to answer the questions, but you just don't know, great job. That's still not easy. And I commend you for that. And it's a fantastic start. So number 3, I know that it can feel really hopeless when somebody just kind of reaches in and challenges the only tool that you know about to help you. But if you have thought honestly and done some self-reflection here, and you think, no, I just can't do that long term, that is not sustainable for me, then great. A, you've been honest with yourself, and that's fantastic. And B, start to consider that now that you recognize that dieting just might not be the best solution, the one that actually works for you in the long term, that there is another solution. It takes the form of small, sustainable steps over time that do last. Now, the results are not as fast, but we're not looking for fast. We're looking for results that make you healthy in your body, soul, and spirit, and they last for the long term. Because if we have short-term results, you're just back here again next year. These habit formation strategies are the ones that are sustainable. These can last for a lifetime, and you can live with them with not only satisfaction, but with enjoyment. That really is a key to long-term health. And I'm not here to discourage you from any of your attempts to get healthier, but you'll find that over the long term on this channel, I'm trying to help you discover the underlying problems and deal with those. And everything else can just kind of fall into place. The fruit that you bear from digging up the root problems, it's going to be better than just attempting the next weight loss diet or attempting to change the way your body looks. So I have a little project that goes along with these 3 tips for you. So just maybe grab a piece of paper or a notebook and a pen, or open up a Word doc and write these things down for yourself. It really does help when you think things through and then actually have to write them down. It does help process things, helps you to really see what's going on a little bit better, and maybe helps you face some things. So number 1, write down what I can live with truly and what I cannot give up truly for the long term. Or even just think in terms of several months. What can I live with for several months, and what can I absolutely not give up for several months? Very important, very important. Just be honest with yourself, do your best. We're not looking for perfection, just discovery. So if I were doing this project, I might say, well, I could probably give up some of my snacking long term, but what am I not going to give up long term? I'm not giving up chocolate. It's not happening. So be very honest with yourself of something that you just can't do or you won't do, and you know yourself well enough to say that. Okay, so that's one thing I would like for you to write down, what you can and cannot do for the long term. Next, I would like you to actually play the movie out. And by doing that, I'd like you to create a timeline on the piece of paper. And on that timeline, I would like for you to write 1 week, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, and 5 years. And I would like for you to write in each of those sections what you think you're actually going to be continuing from the new diet plan before you start it. In other words, a week from now, you're probably thinking, I'm hitting it. I'm perfect on this one. Okay, great. Now go to a month. Maybe you still think, I think I'm still doing it, but then continue. What are the behaviors from that diet plan that you believe you'll still be doing in 3 months, in 6 months, in a year, in 5 years? Again, it's tough. It's a tough assignment, but it's very helpful. It's very helpful for you to be realistic with what is sustainable for your life. And sometimes these very particular specific assignments can help you with that. What's realistic for you? And then number 3, be encouraged, because you will be finding help on this channel that's going to give you tips, give you help that's sustainable. You're going to find that it's really the heart and the mind that are keeping you in this place. So although I'm a dietitian, I love all things nutrition and I love the actual science of it, not the myths, and I want to help you with that. But all of that is fruitless until we find out what's going on in the heart and the mind first and dig those things up and heal those first in Christ. Then we continue on, and then we can learn sustainable health. And that, again, is what this channel is all about for you Christian ladies. I know that story well. I've lived it for decades. And if you've gotten this far to the end of this podcast and you think, I've done the exercise, I've answered those questions, and I really do believe that I can live on this diet, I don't think that I want to give that up, even if there's a backlash. I'm just going to do it anyway. Okay. Fair enough. That is your choice. I respect that. What I would ask for you to do is to tune into the next video before you start. Again, I know I'm asking you to hold off just a little bit, but tune into the next video that's coming before you start. And let's at least set you up for the best outcomes possible in that diet, perhaps preventing some of the backlash that usually comes. So to review, number 1, recognize what you can and cannot live with or give up longer term. Number 2, you're playing that movie in your head. What does it actually look like months out, years out from now? And 3, start to develop healthy habits and trust that there really is a better way than dieting out there. Better way than being preoccupied with all of these food rules, a better way than giving up all of these foods and being deprived. And then tune in next time, and you can actually hit that subscribe button and just be alerted as soon as that next one is released, and then you can continue this journey with me. So don't forget to leave your comments, questions, suggestions. I love it all if you have found it valuable, and I'll see you next time.